might get delayed. I'll have later. Just put it in a plate and go. No, ma, I don't want to touch all those. Just put it in a plate and go, including the powder. We'll just get going in a minute. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Uh, I have a bit of a bad news for myself. I was with somebody the other day, 2 days ago, and he has tested positive for COVID. So, since I was with him and I spent a substantial amount of time, um, I have been asked to go into isolation. So, right now I am under isolation, and whenever anybody comes into the room, I have to wear a mask, they have to wear a mask. So, that was the reason why I was having the mask on. Just in case you were wondering why I was sitting here and wearing a mask. So I have to apparently go for a test tomorrow, which will tell me if I am COVID positive or not. So these are a bit of a tense time for me because I have several comorbidities, as people call them. So if I get this, then I don't know. Anyway, if you remember, yesterday I was. Shall we start off? Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yesterday I was talking to you about the whole idea of religion. And what I was trying to tell you is that there are only three religions in the world. Okay, one which is what is this tool? For some strange reason, this I told you that the definition of religion came from Cicero in the Roman times, and the word that he used was religare. Okay, when it came into English, this became religion. And the precondition for something in order to be called a religion is monotheism. Okay. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. This is not happening. So, monotheism, there's only one God. And if you look at the three religions, they all have their uh, birth in the West Asian region. The first of them was Judaism, and the second was Christianity, and the third is Islam. So Judaism is the oldest. Now, it's interesting that the origin, does anyone know how the name Judaism came into being? Yeah?
No idea, sir.
No idea? Okay.
Zoroaster was a founder of Judaism, sir.
Who?
Zoroaster.
Zoroaster. No, 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 no. Zoroaster, you're, he's also called Zarathustra. Okay. He was not a founder of any religion. Zoroastrianism is what people call it in India, but he was not a uh, prophet. He was not any of those things. He was more like the Buddha. Okay. Judaism comes from this word, Judea, and there is another word also which is associated with Judaism. It's called Samara. Now, if you know the story of the Ten Commandments, if you've seen the movie, or if you've seen not the movie, even if you've read the story of Moses, okay, Moses was tasked apparently by God to pick up Jews from among the ranks of the slaves working in Egypt and take them to these territories, Judea and Samara. And Judea was called the land of uh, milk and honey. Okay, so it is from Judea that the term Judaism comes. Christianity is obvious. Christianity comes from Jesus Christ, and Christ is not his name. Christ is something that means prophet in Yiddish, and uh, what is the other language? Hebrew. These were the languages spoken by the Jews. So by birth, Jesus, or Yesu as his name was, it's a very funny thing. Let me make this observation while we are talking about these things. In Telugu, Jesus is called Yesu. Okay, and that is his real name, Yesu. in Hebrew and in Yiddish, he's called Yesu. Jesus is anglicization. Okay, and the Spanish and Portuguese people call him Jesus. Okay, they pronounce J as Ha. So it is Jesus. But his real name is Yesu. And it's similarly, if you look at the language which we today call English, okay, so let me put it here. This particular language, what do we call it in Telugu?
Anglamu.
Hmm. You don't have to put the mu, you say Angla Bhasha, right? Angla. Now, funnily enough, that is the name of the source of the name of this particular language. It came from Anglo-Saxons. Anglo-Saxons were a tribe of people who were called the Angla. Ang, Anglo comes from A-N-G-L-E. Please don't pronounce this as angle. This is Angla. Okay. And Saxony, that is this thing. Saxony is a province in Germany. So you see, we always say that the English conquered us and subjugated us. But what we don't know is that Great Britain, England, call it whatever you want, was itself a territory that had been a subject of various different conquests. One of the earliest people to conquer England were called the Vikings, or those who came from Sweden. Okay, and then you have apart from the Vikings, you have the next conquest that happens is through whom we call Norwegians, but in that time they were called Normans. Okay, they later on conquered. Then it was the turn of the French or Gauls, as they were called. So all these people called, at one point or the other, conquered what we call Great Britain or England now. And the tribe Angla were the final conquerors. Okay, so because of Gauls, there is one particular language which is spoken still. It's called Gaelic. It's very close to French. Okay. And Angla people were the final conquerors, this particular tribe. And this tribe of people, since they conquered, the language they spoke was initially called English. Uh, then it became English, and the pronunciation changed to E. From English, it became English. So we say Angla, that is actually the correct pronunciation, the perfect pronunciation for that language. Yeah, just like we say Yesu. Okay, you better get used to these trips I keep making around various points. You might be wondering what is the point of all this. Well, it's good information to have. It is history. The more history you know, the better educated we are. Okay, and I consider myself to be a student still. And without being a good student, you can't be a good teacher. I don't know if I'm a good teacher. I have a feeling I'm not, but I try to be, and therefore I continue to remain a student. I keep learning things, and what I learn, I pass on to the people that I discuss things with in a classroom, virtual or otherwise. Okay, so that's my philosophy. So if you are wondering why I do this, this is something that I'll keep doing throughout. That's, to put it uh, in the Tamil way, I am like this only. Okay. Anyway, so these are the three religions. They qualify to be called religions. The others that we know of don't qualify to be called religions. What are they then? If we are talking about, there was, for example, no such thing as Hinduism. I don't know if you know it. Uh, it is Raja Ram Mohan Roy who coined Hinduism. Till that particular time, there was only a word, a free floating word, as it is called in academics, which was Hindu. And it didn't designate anything or anyone except those people who lived on the eastern side of the Indus River. In fact, even India, the name India comes from that particular river, Indus. So, this is something that has stuck to us, the river. And does anyone know what the first name for India was when it was an island? Does anyone know that it was an island?
Jambudweep.
Sorry?
Jambudweep.
Yes, that's right. Why was it called Jambu Deep? Dweep is okay. It's an island. Why Jambu? Any
Because
idea?
it's
Hmm?
so much big.
Huh? Huh?
because it was so much big. Sir. It was a subcontinent.
No, 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 no. It was a place where you got blackberries or jamun, as we call it today. Okay, this island was, it had lot of growth of the blackberries or the kala jamun, as it is called, and that's why it got the name Jambu. In Jamun originally was Jambu, Jambu Dweep. Hmm? And it's not Jumbo. Come on, Jumbo is different. So it got its name from that. And when the island came and dashed against the Asian continent's mainland, it created the Himalayas, which are fold mountains, because when it dashed, the land went up in folds. Okay, so they are called fold mountains. And in fact, people say it is this that led to the sinking of Dwaraka, which is today under the Arabian Sea, which is today under the Arabian Sea. So that is what people say. But whatever it is, India derives its names after it becomes a part of the Asian continent. And incidentally, if you ever have a chance to go to Ladakh or Leh, you will see that they are deserts, and you will also see that you get seashells up there in the mountains. Okay, that shows that it was a landmass that came and hit the Asian continent. And so that's how India came into being. Okay, but all the later designations have come from, whether it is the Sindhu or whether it is Hindu or India, it all comes from that river Indus. Okay, now the thing that I want, the thing that I want you to remember is that what we had in India, I said Raja Ram Mohan Roy called it Hinduism, but what we had in India didn't have a name because it was a cosmology. Do you understand what a cosmology is? Anyone?
Study of cosmos. World.
No, I'm afraid not.
The study of the universe.
No, 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 no. That's not.
Universe.
Sorry?
Study of universe.
Study of universe? No. Okay, I'll ask you now that you're saying study of universe. What does this mean? Universe? Anybody?
Planets. It includes planets, stars, galaxies.
But why is it called universe? For example, since we are talking about galaxies, planets, and all those things, why isn't it called multiverse? Hmm? Akshay? Some people actually call it multiverse. Do you know that?
We don't know.
Yeah. Okay. See, there have been two ways of looking at the universe. One way of looking at it is cosmos. The other way of looking at it is chaos. So let's start with this. What do you understand by chaos?
Confusion.
Sorry?
Confusion.
Confusion,
Mayhem.
mayhem, confusion. Okay, any other words?
Disturbance.
Disturbance. Okay, any other? Confusion, mayhem, disturbance. See, most words have, when we are in the context of social sciences, they have two kinds of meanings. One kind of meaning is that which is called uh, a commonsensical understanding. A commonsensical understanding is that which stems out of our usage of the language on the way in which we use a language in our daily lives. Okay, so when we say chaos in uh, when we say chaos, what is this horrible thing? Yeah, sorry. When we say chaos, what we actually mean is that there is confusion, mayhem. Yeah, they are all probably okay. Some people, even I was actually hoping somebody would tell me this. Anarchy also is used as a synonym of chaos in our daily life. Okay, but when we look at them in the context of doing political theory and any kind of theory that deals with the social sciences, any kind of theory, political philosophy, when we do that, then all these three words have different meanings. Let's start with anarchy. Have you heard of Bakunin Proudhon? Anyone? Bakunin, Bakunin, Proudhon, Proudhon.
Yes, sir.
Who were they?
Political thinkers.
What kind of ideology did they
Anarchist.
subscribe to? What kind of ideology did they subscribe to?
Anarchism, sir.
Anarchism, correct? So, what is anarchism?
Absence of state.
Absence of state. Well, that is not wrong, but that is not entirely right either, but it's not wrong. What does the absence of state symbolize?
Absence of law and order.
You mean to say people like Bakunin and Proudhon and all wanted the absence of law and order? Then why are we calling them philosophers? We should be calling them fools and idiots and things like that. Hmm? I don't know, sir. Yeah, Akshay, no idea why they are called anarchists. You know,
That the government, in place of government, they can be any voluntary
in place
organization,
of government, they can be any voluntary.
communities or associations, I suppose.
Somebody needs to mute their mic, please. That child is too small for my class. He'll be traumatized. The child is too small for my class. He'll be traumatized.
از ذات این درس داشته من اشتباه زدم سیکلینگ.
Hello. Could you please mute your mic, please? Whoever it is. No, it is not a question of voluntary associations. It is basically absence of power relations in society. Please remember that this particular word, arch, it basically it represents power, an arch. Okay, so English is this very funny language. So when you talk about archangels, you don't call them archangels, even though you write archangels. It's okay. What's happened here? These are called archangels because the word arch actually is derived from the Greek word which is pronounced arc, but it's not the arc of the English word. Arc in English is a boat, right? But in Greek, arch was pronounced as arc. So that's why these people are called archangels and not archangels. Monarchy, it should have been, but it's called monarchy. Monarchy is one source of power. Okay, mono and one arch. So that means one source of power. if you say diarchy, then two sources of power, two sources of power. You say oligarchy, then you're saying it's a biggish group of people who are in power. Okay, so but once it becomes embedded in the English language, you have this word, for instance. You don't call him an archbishop, you call him an archbishop. Okay, and if you are talking about an enemy, you say arch enemy, right? So that is why you see this slight difference in pronunciations, because these words came much later and they came in the English language, whereas these words were derived out of Greek. Anarchy is the absence of power relations, and anarchists like Bakunin and Proudhon, and to a certain extent even Peter Kropotkin, all of them believe that if animals can regulate their life without there being any structures of power, they believe that you can have human society also regulating itself without the necessity of any structures of power. And the state is seen as a structure of power, which is what the anarchists share in common with the Marxists. Marx and the Marxists basically didn't see the state as a neutral body. They saw it as an instrument of uh, class domination. They saw it as a body that legitimized the exploitation of the workers by the capitalists. So for them, the state was an undesirable power structure. Okay, it was an undesirable power structure. So therefore, they advocated a uh, system where they wanted the removal of classes first. The difference between the Marxists and the anarchists starts here. Both of them, both the philosophies support uh, the working class revolution. The difference is that Marx and the Marxists believed that after the working class revolution had been accomplished, then it was the duty of the working class to seize control of the state. By seizing control of the state, it was supposed to seize control of the forces of production and the means of production, and usher in a classless society. Okay, that was the dictatorship of the proletariat, or the dictatorship of the working class. It was tasked with dissolving classes which are hierarchically organized. Classes are never organized horizontally, they are organized vertically. And class, please remember, is always an economic denomination. Class is not a social denomination. It's an economic denomination that becomes a social denomination. Whereas caste is primarily a social denomination. But I don't want to talk about caste now. Anyway, so the difference was that Marx wanted the proletarians to take control of the state, dissolve the classes, and basically uh, then move on to a classless, stateless society, which he called communism. But the anarchists differed with him. They said immediately after the revolution, why do you need to have the dictatorship of the proletariat? Why does the state have to be controlled by the proletariat? The proletariat can actually become the ruling class then, which is exactly what happened in the case of the USSR. Stalin justified his vindictive politics, especially with regard to Leon Trotsky. He justified it under this thing of enemies of the dictatorship of the proletariat. And ultimately, he gave communism a bad name, and communism came to be equated with Nazism and fascism. Okay, so the anarchists said there is no need for a dictatorship of the proletariat. The moment you succeed in the revolution, get rid of all the elements of power and go into a classless society which is self-regulatory. Now we'll discuss that when we come to Marx, and we'll see why they differed with each other in detail then. But for now, let's get back to this idea of chaos. What is chaos? Like I said, in the technical sense of the term, chaos is completely different from the everyday commonsensical usage. The everyday commonsensical usage is something that tells us that chaos is that which is to be understood as lack of order, okay, or disorder if you like. And we also we say that it is something which symbolizes confusion, but in the technical sense, chaos is not that at all. What is chaos? Chaos is the absence of a predetermined purpose. Okay? Chaos in the technical sense of the term. So this basically, Mr. 1IX2OYTTTVW3R, could you mute your mic? Could you mute your mic, please? Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so there is no predetermined purpose to the universe. Okay, so they don't even agree that there is a universe. They believe that everything that happens in this, we'll use the world for the time being. They believe everything that happens in this world is nothing but a series of accidents. Everything that happens in this world is a series of accidents, and that these accidents, you know what an accident is. An accident is something that nobody anticipated, nobody thought will happen. It is not something that is supposed to happen, but it has happened. So the absence of a predetermined purpose is nothing but a series of accidents. So just let me give you a simple example. If you believe in the chaotic perception of the universe, you will say that you're joining arts college, my becoming your teacher is nothing but an accident. It's nothing but an accident in the sense that it is something um, uh, which has happened without any reason, without any rhyme. It's something that just happened. There's no deeper meaning to it. Okay, you becoming students and my becoming your teacher has absolutely no deeper meaning. It could have been somebody else, but it is me. Yeah, and especially considering the fact that I've just been transferred to the arts college. So you'll say that it is just a series of accidents. But if you believe in the perception that the universe is a cosmos, then you're saying that everything has a predetermined purpose. Okay, everything has a predetermined purpose. Everything that happens in this world has a predetermined purpose or is purposive. There is a reason why I am your teacher. We may not know the reason. Okay, we may not know the reason, but we believe that this has happened for a reason. And I'm just giving you an isolated instance of a class and a teacher and students. But this is something that is applied to the whole of the universe. What is universe? One verse, single verse. That is what it is. That means there is only one reason why the universe exists. If you look at the world and say that it is the universe, then it is, you're saying that it is existing for one reason. And what cosmologies do is that they look at the universe as a cosmos where everything that happens in that cosmos has a purpose. And it does not arrogate like we have done in the modern period. What we have done is that we have arrogated to ourselves this particular planet, for example. We think we can kill any animal that is uh, inconvenient to us. At one time, people had to show off how brave and courageous they were by hunting uh, lions, tigers, cheetahs, so much so that the cheetah has been hunted out of existence in the Indian subcontinent. But otherwise, we had a different kind of a cheetah here. Lions are on the brink of extinction. We have 640 lions, and that too, they are in only in one part of India, which is the Gir forest. And we have also almost hunted tigers into existence. There are about 2,000 of them left, right? And with the burgeoning of the population, what are we doing? We are also cutting down forests, and that is leading to the loss of habitat for wild animals, right? This kind of a thing is a man-centric universe, or a human-centric universe, if there are any feminists among you. Sorry about saying man. It's a human-centric universe. We believe the universe is there for our convenience. Okay, it is there for our convenience. We can take what we want from it. We can do whatever we want from it. But an Adivasi or a tribal person or an aborigine does not look at the universe that way. Okay, the way in which the Adivasi looks at the universe is he sees himself as a small part of this particular universe. For the Adivasi, the forest represents his livelihood. And his livelihood is not money, it's food. And very interestingly, a study by Peter Winch across different tribes in various different parts of the world showed that when people hunt, tribal people, when they hunt animals, they say a prayer to the animal that has died. They say a prayer which goes something like, sorry, we have killed you, but we have to survive. And thank you for laying down your life so that we can survive. Okay, so they say this prayer, and only then they proceed to cook and consume that particular animal. And if you've seen Adivasis, they never pull out an entire beehive from a tree. They don't pull out an entire beehive from a tree. They just uh, take a part of the hive. Why? Because if they pull out the entire beehive, then the honey bee will go somewhere else. But if you leave a part of the hive, it comes back and rebuilds that hive. So that's how the Adivasi lives. He's comfortable in nature. Whereas as civilized people, as we call ourselves, we are unnatural. We have become more and more distanced from nature. So we don't understand the true meaning of a universe. The true meaning of a universe is it is a cosmology. A cosmology is where you say that the whole universe has a purpose of existence. This, ironically, is an argument that is the basis of a modern philosopher and his philosophy. And that happens to be Hegel. Okay, Hegel claims that this universe is not, he says history is not our story. It says history is something else. I'll talk to you about that later on. Okay, but when we are talking about cosmology, please remember, you are saying that the whole is greater than the sum of all its parts, which basically means if you believe in cosmology, you'll say the universe itself is like God. And that is why you have as opposed to, let me put this here, as opposed to monotheism, you have pantheism. Pantheism is where you look at the entire universe as being divine. Okay. And within this, if you come to India, I'll leave that. If you come to India, you have what has now been called Hinduism. Actually, people referred to it as Sanatana Dharma, the system of philosophy. Okay, please remember that this is not a religion. It is a philosophical system. If you read the Vedas, then you will see that there is nothing holy in the Vedas. The Vedas describe geography, they describe several things that pertain to our daily lives and how to go about conducting ourselves in a dharmic way. What is dharma? Can somebody give me an English meaning of dharma? Anyone?
Righteousness.
Oh, wonderful. Absolutely. Yes, righteousness. So can you give me an example of that?
Example of what, sir?
Example of righteousness. You're absolutely right. Dharma is righteousness.
It's just following
Hmm?
good path, leading a good life.
Good
Doing right,
life? No. What did you say before? Just following?
just doing right things and leading a good
So
right life.
what is the right thing? Are there any do's and don'ts?
Yeah, like abstaining to non-violence. Stuff like,
Abstaining from violence or abstaining from non-violence?
oh, sorry, violence.
No, not true. Because if you look at the uh, Bhagavad Gita, when Arjuna says, I don't want to kill these people who are all my cousins, my uncles, my grandfather, I don't want to kill these people. What is Krishna trying to tell him? Krishna is trying to tell him that you have to kill these people. Why do you have to kill these people? You have to kill these people because they represent adharma. Their way of life is adharmic. And to restore dharma, you have to get rid of these people who represent adharma. So sometimes killing is necessary, violence is necessary for the maintenance of dharma. Okay, so it's not, there is no do's and don'ts. It's not like the 10 commandments. Okay, it's not like the 10 commandments where you say these are the things that you do and these are the things that you don't. No. In the Sanatana Dharma system, we have this. Who's drawn this, please? Who's this? Lakshmi Priya Garu. Thank you. Um, if we are looking at this, we are also looking at karma. And karma is something that basically leaves it to the individual to decide what is right and wrong. Okay, and that is why we have these cycles of birth. We are born, we die, we are born again, till such time that our karma is not completely pure. When our karma becomes pure, then depending upon which school of Sanatana Dharma you belong to, you will become one with the universe. So let me put the names of the schools. One school is the Advaita school. The other school is the Visishta Advaita, and the third is Dvaita. Okay, these are the three main schools of Sanatana Dharma. What is Advaita? Advaita is in English monism. Okay, so this was represented by Adi Shankaracharya. What did Adi Shankaracharya say? Adi Shankaracharya said that the what constitutes the Brahman or the universe, Brahman is equal to the universe. What constitutes the Brahman also constitutes the Atman, which means that the Atman is a diminished universe. If you are going to show the Brahman as A plus B plus C is equal to U, that is the universe. If these three elements, A, B, C, they are the constituent elements that lead to the universe, then A plus B, Jesus, C is me or myself. Okay, so you have this word dhyana, which people will tell you is meditation, and which means you sit like this with your fingers like this, and then you sit and think about all your problems. Tomorrow at 9 o'clock, this fellow will start his class and teach us rubbish. Okay, so that's what we do as dhyana. But that's not what dhyana is. Dhyana is introspection. Dhyana is trying to understand the self. If you understand the self, Miss Freshta Hakiki, you are going around in circles. Okay, it reminds me of a song by the Manfred Mann's Earth Band. It's called going around in circles. Her image is going round. Anyway, thanks for reminding me of Manfred Mann's Earth Band. It's been a long time since I've heard their songs. Anyway, so if I understand myself, I'm a diminished cosmos. So what do I do? If I understand myself, I understand the universe. How? If you take, for example, aerodynamics, okay, you're trying to make, let us say, a car aerodynamic. So what would you do? What would you do? You would basically create a scale model, put it in a wind tunnel, and let the air onto that scale model at a certain force to see and calculate what is called the drag coefficient. A drag coefficient is that which hinders aerodynamic movement. Okay. So once you have done it on a scale model, let us say the scale model is 1:8. Then you will build the full size model. You scale it up, right? It is nothing but scaling it up to its full size, and the drag coefficient will still remain the same. Let's say the drag coefficient is 0.25. That will be the same on the scale model or on the full size model. So similarly, if I understand myself, because I'm a diminished universe, I will understand the universe. So if you're Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya, not these present Shankaracharyas, there are some 5 of them. Okay, and then you're basically saying that you have reached a stage of has anybody heard of this expression? Anyone? This and this as well. I knew this would happen. So anyone, have you heard either of these expressions?
Yes, sir. Heard of Aham Brahmasmi.
What does it mean?
Um, I think it says, I am the whole one. I am the supreme one.
Close, very close, but not really, not supreme. There's no supremacy. Aham Brahmasmi is I am the universe. Brahman is the universe. So when you say Aham Brahmasmi, it means I am the universe, right? So Aham usually is taken as an egoistic statement. In this case, it is not. Aham is the self, I. I am the universe. And this happens because of Tattvam Asi. What is Tattvam Asi? Anyone who has heard this? Hmm? It is
No.
I am that, not this is what I am adding. Tattvamasi is only I am that, not me. That's what, don't read the not me into the definition. The definition is here only. Okay, I am that. So what I am not an individual self. That's what it means. I am not an individual self, but I am the cosmic self. Tattvam asi is that. I am that. So who is that? That is the Brahman. The Brahman is the cosmic self or the universe. Okay, so that is something that you need to remember. So Sanatana Dharma is not a religion. Hinduism, which we are talking about, which somebody told me is a religion, is unfortunately for you not a religion. Okay, there's a good word which describes what Hinduism is. Ever heard of this word? Anyone? It's pronounced synecdoche. Has anyone heard of this? No? Akshay, you have?
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
Ah, Akshay has heard. Very good. I'm impressed, Akshay. What does it mean?
It is one literary term, sir, like metaphor, oxymoron,
Oxymoron.
simile. One of the
Simile. No, 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 no. A synecdoche is confusing a part for the whole or the whole for a part. Okay? If you confuse one part of something to be the whole, or if you take the whole and think it is a part of something else, then that becomes a synecdoche. It works both ways. Okay? So Hinduism is a synecdoche in the sense that Hinduism has so many different ideas in it, okay, which have been added over time. And why have they gotten added over time? You have to try and understand that. Why have they gotten added over time? There is a reason for that. The reason why things have got added over a time is because Sanskrit did not have a script. Does anyone know when Sanskrit finally got a script? Anyone? Okay. It got a script somewhere around the 11th, 12th century CE. Till then, it didn't have a script. So everything was recitation. So you can call it storytelling. Okay. So when you have multiple telling of the same story, then sometimes things get added on and some things get removed. So the original form is no longer preserved. If you take recourse to this category,
क्लास आ रही है कब जाना
excuse me,
क्लास होना
excuse me, please. Excuse me.
क्लास में मनोगा
Well, okay. So if we are looking at Hinduism, it's a synecdoche. So I suggest don't use that term, because the Vedas are written in the form of verses, as are the Upanishads. Those have remained true to their uh, original this thing, but later on the things that have got added on and which has become Hinduism as such, that those are all, stories, which so many things like Mahabharata has so many subplots, all of which are add-ons. They are not the original things. Okay, so this is a cosmology. And let me say, and I'm not saying I'm not a rightist, by the way, and I am not a leftist, I'm not any ist, and I don't have any unnecessary pride in the past of my country. But let me tell you one thing, cosmologies abound even today in Africa, in Latin America, in the South American continent. Cosmologies abound even today, but no cosmology, Egyptian cosmology, okay, you talk about that. You talk about the Roman cosmology, the Greek cosmology, none of them are anywhere near the sophistication of Sanatana Dharma, not just Sanatana Dharma, even of other, what am I doing here? Why am I? Let's get rid of these. Okay. Jainism, Buddhism are also cosmologies. Which of these is older?
Jainism.
When approximately did it start?
543 BC.
Sorry?
Jainism. 543.
And who was the founder?
Rishabnada.
Who?
Jainism was founded by Rishabnada.
Rishabnatha. Is that what you said?
Yes, sir.
Rishabnatha. And 543. Wow, you're being very, very true to this thing. I'm afraid not. You're right. Jainism is older, but it is neither 543 BCE nor is it Rishabnatha. It is Parsvanatha, sometimes simply called Parsva. And it is 10th century BCE. I know it's got typed over that. Okay. 10th century BCE, it was founded by Parsvanatha. People think it is Mahavira who did it in the 5th century, but it isn't. Mahavira was a contemporary of
Oi,
the Buddha. Okay.
कौन रात गया है? हाँ.
Excuse me, could you not speak while I'm teaching? So Mahavira is actually the 10th or something Tirthankara. He's not the founder. Many people think he is. And many people think Jainism is newer than. Excuse me, somebody please mute your mic. Hello? Hello? We're wasting time. Please don't speak on your phone while we are having a class. Please. Okay.
Sir,
Yeah. Yes, Akshay.
Mahavira was the 23rd Tirthankara, sir. He was not 6th Tirthankara.
Sorry?
Mahavira was 23rd Tirthankara.
23rd. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. You're right. You're right. I stand corrected. You're right. You're absolutely right. He was the 23rd Tirthankara. Okay. So he was a. Thanks for correcting me, Akshay. I was thinking of something. I got distracted. So you're absolutely right. He was the 23rd Tirthankara. So Buddhism, Jainism, these are also cosmologies. Okay, and if you've been to Mount Abu, and you should go to Mount Abu at some point in your life, if you see the sculptures of the Tirthankaras there, you will find that their faces betray no expression. Okay, they betray no expression. In order to become a Tirthankara, everybody cannot become a Tirthankara. In order to become a Tirthankara, you must be able to conquer emotions, either happiness or sorrow or any kind of emotions. You should be unaffected by any emotion, and your face should not show that emotion because your mind is not having that emotion. It's not like put on a poker face, but have all kinds of emotions in your mind. No, it's not that. It's not that kind of a thing. It's your mind is devoid of drawing pleasure or pain from occurrences in yourself or outside yourself. Only then will you become a Tirthankara. Okay. So you will see that the whole of the ancient Indian system has cosmologies. They are not religions. And all these cosmologies are very, very evolved. Very, very evolved. Unlike the, I don't mean it in a pejorative or in a bad way, the unevolved cosmologies of the Mayan civilization or the Zoque civilization, ZOQUE, Zoque, it's not that civilization, and none of any of the existing tribal cosmologies that you find in Africa and South America and parts of Central America today. Okay, they are not as evolved as these are. These three cosmological systems have they have shown a great deal of evolution. And unfortunately, the pantheism that was there in what we have as Hinduism today, no, that was there in originally the Sanatana Dharma tradition. That pantheism has given way to polytheism, Well, I don't have to say unfortunate. Well, oh, sorry. This is a nuisance. I wish there was some other way of doing this. Polytheism, innumerable gods, many gods. That's what we are talking about when we talk about polytheism. Some people say Hindus have 3 crore gods. I doubt that, because who has actually sat and counted 3 crores? You know, even if you have 3 lakh gods, you can't count them. So all that is nonsense. It's just that we had polytheism. We have polytheism now. And that is the reason why, I don't know if you're aware of this. I'm sure actually quite a few of you are quite knowledgeable. So I'm really happy about that. Uh, you've been giving me some fantastic answers, and I'm kind of enjoying teaching you people, though I'm sure you're not particularly enjoying listening to me. Uh, you will find that there are Hindus go even to dargahs. Okay, every year you have that Urs in Ajmer for Chishti, Khwaja Chishti, who was also called Banda Nawaz. You have that system of putting a chadar on the grave stone. So you have Hindus who probably outnumber the Muslims who go and do it, because Hindus will pray to anyone. Okay, so there are so many pantheons of gods and goddesses, and unlike the Western tradition, and unlike the 3 religions which are robustly patriarchal, God is man, he's not woman. There is no anything which is feminine, which is divine. There is no feminine divine in all the 3 religions. In fact, all 3 religions subscribe to the fact that all the cause of the problems of human beings are women, the original sin of Eve. So they are robustly patriarchal. But even Hinduism in this new form, not in the Sanatana Dharma form, doesn't have this. Okay, every village has a goddess guarding it. Okay, all these names that you hear, Banda Maisamma or Katta Maisamma, all these kind of things. So the feminine is also considered to be divine. In fact, I'll end with this point. There are 2 ways in which the divine has been seen, or rather 3 ways in which in Sanatana Dharma, 3 ways in which the divine has been seen. One is okay. Unfortunately, I can't put the accents. Okay, there has to be a line, horizontal line on the S here, and 2 dots on the N. Okay, similarly, horizontal line here on the S and 2 dots on the N. And here, one line on the top and one line on the T. That's how you have to have. So if you're looking at, it is to be pronounced as Vishnu, Vishnu, no. Okay. Vishnu is not this 10-handed God that we see. Okay. Vishnu is the spirit that permeates the universe. Krishna, Krishna, that's how it is supposed to be pronounced. It is also the spirit that permeates the universe. And there is the female form of it, which is Shakti. Shakti. So that is the female form. So these are the three ways in which the spirit that permeates the universe has been described. You have 1 minute for your next class, so I'd better get out. I wanted to finish this today and go on to back to Greek philosophy tomorrow, but I'll finish this part tomorrow and then go to Greek philosophy. Thank you very much. I'm sorry if I have delayed you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Bye.